Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. I want to talk to you about something that affects every single one of us, something that determines whether we rise or fall, whether we succeed or fail, whether we live a life of fulfillment or a life of regret. I want to talk to you about maintaining a positive attitude when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Now, let me start by saying this. Life is not easy. Anyone who tells you it's going to be easy is selling you something you don't need. Life is challenging. Life will test you. Life will knock you down, and sometimes it will knock you down hard. But here's what I've learned in all my years. Here's what I know to be true. It's not what happens to you that determines your future. It's what you do about what happens to you. It's your response to life's difficulties that shapes your destiny. You see, we all face tough times. Every single person in this room has faced adversity, has dealt with setbacks, has experienced disappointment. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that successful people don't face problems. No, they face just as many problems as everyone else. Sometimes they face even more problems because they're attempting more, they're reaching higher, they're trying to accomplish something significant. The difference is in how they respond to those problems. Let me tell you something about attitude. Your attitude is like a thermostat, not a thermometer. A thermometer simply reflects the temperature of its environment. When it's cold outside, the thermometer shows cold. When it's hot, it shows hot. It has no control. But a thermostat is different. A thermostat sets the temperature. It determines what the environment will be. And that's exactly what your attitude does in your life. Your attitude sets the temperature for your entire existence. Now, some people go through life like thermometers. When times are good, they feel good. When times are bad, they feel bad. They let their circumstances dictate their emotions, their energy, their effort. They're completely at the mercy of external events. But the people who achieve extraordinary things, the people who overcome incredible obstacles, they're like thermostats. They decide what their internal temperature is going to be regardless of what's happening around them. I want you to understand something crucial here. Positivity is not naivety. Staying positive through tough times doesn't mean pretending the tough times don't exist. It doesn't mean putting on a fake smile and acting like everything is wonderful when it's not. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is maintaining a constructive, solution-oriented mindset even when facing genuine difficulties. It's about choosing to focus on possibilities rather than limitations, on solutions rather than problems, on what you can do rather than what you can't do. Let me share something with you that changed my life many years ago. I learned that you cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. That's something you have total control over. You can't control the economy. You can't control what other people do. You can't control the weather. You can't control whether you were born into poverty or privilege, but you can control your response to all of these things. And that response is everything. Think about it this way. Two people can face the exact same difficult situation and come out with completely different results. One person faces a business failure and becomes bitter, angry, and defeated. They give up on their dreams. They spend the rest of their lives talking about what could have been, what should have been if only things had been different. The other person faces the same business failure and treats it as education. They learn from their mistakes. They adjust their approach. They come back stronger, wiser, more determined. Same situation, completely different outcomes. What made the difference? Their attitude, their interpretation of events, their decision about what the failure meant and what they would do about it. Now let me tell you about the philosophy that will serve you well in tough times. It's simply this. For things to change, you must change. For things to get better, you must get better. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. You see, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Most people are looking for someone to blame, some excuse for why their life isn't working out. They blame the government. They blame the economy. They blame their parents. They blame their spouse. They blame their boss. They blame their circumstances, and while they're busy blaming, life is passing them by. The years are slipping away, opportunities are being missed, and nothing changes because they're focused on the wrong thing. Here's what I suggest. Take full responsibility for your life. Accept that where you are right now is the result of all your past decisions, all your past actions, all your past attitudes. Now that might be a hard pill to swallow. Some of you might be thinking, but Jim, you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how difficult my circumstances are. And you're right, I don't know your specific circumstances, but I do know this. However difficult your circumstances are, someone else has faced worse and overcome it. Someone else started with less and accomplished more. Someone else had fewer advantages and created greater success. The question is not whether your circumstances are difficult. The question is, what are you going to do about them? Are you going to let your difficulties define you, or are you going to let them refine you? Are you going to let tough times make you bitter, or are you going to let them make you better? Let me talk to you about the power of interpretation. See, events themselves are neutral. It's the meaning we assign to them that gives them power over us. When something bad happens, you have a choice. You can interpret it as a disaster, as proof that life is unfair, as evidence that you're not good enough. Or you can interpret it as a challenge, as an opportunity to grow, as a chance to develop strength you didn't know you had. I remember when I was young, going through some particularly difficult times financially. I had more month left than money. The bills were piling up. The pressure was intense. I could have interpreted that situation as proof that I was a failure, that success wasn't meant for people like me. But instead, I chose to interpret it differently. I saw it as a signal that I needed to learn more, that I needed to develop new skills, that I needed to change my approach. That interpretation changed everything. It put me in a learning mode rather than a victim mode. It made me ask better questions. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to become? What skills do I need to develop? And that's what I want you to understand. Your questions determine your focus, and your focus determines your results. If you're asking yourself, why does this always happen to me? Why is life so unfair? Why can't I catch a break? Those questions will lead you toward negativity, toward victimhood, toward giving up. But if you're asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? What's the opportunity hidden in this challenge? Those questions will lead you toward solutions, toward growth, toward breakthrough. Now let me talk about something that's absolutely essential when you're going through tough times. You must guard your mind carefully. Your mind is like a garden, and you are the gardener. You must be very careful about what seeds you allow to be planted there. You must be vigilant about what you expose yourself to, what you read, what you watch, who you spend time with, what conversations you participate in. See, negative thinking is like a weed. If you don't actively work to remove it, it will grow and spread and eventually take over your entire mental garden. And once negativity takes root deeply, it becomes very difficult to maintain the positive attitude you need to overcome tough times. That's why you must be proactive about feeding your mind with positive, constructive, empowering information. I'm going to suggest something to you. Make it a daily discipline to read something positive, something uplifting, something that reminds you of what's possible. Spend at least 30 minutes every day feeding your mind the kind of material that will help you maintain your positive attitude. This is not optional if you want to stay positive through tough times. This is essential. Why? Because we're surrounded by negativity. Turn on the news and what do you hear? Problems, disasters, scandals, failures. Talk to the average person and what do you hear? Complaints, excuses, blame, negativity. If you're not deliberately choosing to fill your mind with positive material, the negative material will fill it by default. And once your mind is full of negativity, staying positive becomes almost impossible. But there's something else you need to understand about staying positive through tough times. You cannot do it alone. You need to surround yourself with positive people. You need to find people who believe in you, who encourage you, who support you, who challenge you to be better. Because let me tell you, negative people will drain your energy faster than anything else. Have you ever noticed how after spending time with certain people, you feel exhausted, discouraged, depressed? That's because they're energy vampires. They're feeding off your positivity while giving you nothing but negativity in return. And if you're going through tough times and spending all your time with negative people, you don't have a chance. You'll be pulled down by their attitude before you can pull yourself up. Now, I'm not saying you should abandon people who are going through difficulties. I'm not saying you shouldn't help people who are struggling. But there's a difference between helping someone who's temporarily down and who wants to get back up, and trying to maintain a relationship with someone who's permanently negative, who wants to stay down and who wants to pull you down with them. You've got to make some tough decisions about who you're going to spend your time with. You've got to look at your current associations and ask yourself, are these people helping me become who I want to be, or are they holding me back? Are they encouraging my dreams, or are they mocking my ambitions? Are they celebrating my progress, or are they criticizing my efforts? And if you find that the people you're spending the most time with are negative, critical, and discouraging, you've got to make a change. You've got to find new associations. You've got to seek out people who are positive, who are growing, who are achieving, who are overcoming their own challenges with grace and determination. Now let me talk about faith. I'm not necessarily talking about religious faith, though that may be part of it for you. I'm talking about faith in the future, faith in yourself, faith that things can and will get better. This is absolutely crucial for staying positive through tough times. See, when you're in the middle of difficulty, when everything seems dark, when you can't see the way forward, you've got to have faith that there is a way forward even if you can't see it yet. You've got to believe that the sun will rise again, even though it's dark right now. You've got to trust that this tough time is temporary, that it's not permanent, that it's not forever. I've noticed something about people who overcome great difficulties. They all have this quality of faith. They believe in a better future even when their current circumstances give them no logical reason to believe. They trust that if they keep working, keep learning, keep growing, going, keep trying, eventually they'll break through. And that faith sustains them through the difficult times. Without faith, you give up too soon. Without faith, you quit at the first sign of difficulty. Without faith, you interpret every setback as proof that you should stop trying. But with faith, you persist. With faith, you keep going. With faith, you see setbacks as temporary obstacles, not permanent barriers. Let me share something with you about the nature of tough times. Tough times don't last forever. They just don't. I know when you're in the middle of difficulty, it feels like it will never end. But it will. Every storm runs out of rain. Every winter gives way to spring. Every night is followed by dawn. This too shall pass. But here's what's important. The question is not whether the tough times will pass. They will. The question is, who will you be when they pass? Will you emerge stronger or weaker? Will you be better or bitter? Will you have grown or shrunk? That depends entirely on how you go through the tough times, on what attitude you maintain, on what you learn, on how you respond. You see, tough times are actually a gift if you know how to use them. They're an opportunity to develop strength you couldn't develop any other way. Think about it. You don't build muscle by lying on the couch. You build muscle by putting stress on the muscle, by lifting heavy weights, by pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable. The difficulty is what creates the strength. The same is true in life. You don't build character. You don't develop resilience. You don't discover what you're truly capable of during easy times. You discover all of that during tough times. The difficulties you face are developing qualities in you that you'll need for your future success. They're preparing you for something greater. They're teaching you lessons you couldn't learn any other way. So instead of resenting your tough times, instead of complaining about them, instead of asking, why me? Try asking, what is this teaching me? What is this preparing me for? What strength is this developing in me? When you change your questions, you change your focus. And when you change your focus, you change your attitude. And when you change your attitude, you change your life. Now let me talk about goals. This is absolutely essential. If you want to stay positive through tough times, you must have goals. You must have something you're working towards, something you're aiming for, something that excites you and motivates you and pulls you forward. See, without goals, you're just drifting. You're just reacting to whatever life throws at you. But with clear, compelling goals, you have a reason to push through the difficulties. You have a purpose. You have direction. When things get tough, you can remind yourself why you're doing this, what you're working toward, what's waiting for you on the other side of this difficult period. Your goals give you something to focus on other than your problems. They give you a positive vision of the future. They give you hope, and hope is like oxygen for the human spirit. Without it, we suffocate. With it, we can endure almost anything. But here's what's important. Your goals need to be written down. They need to be specific. They need to be compelling. You can't just have some vague wish that things will get better. You need to have a clear picture of exactly what you want to achieve, why you want to achieve it, and what you're willing to do to make it happen. I suggest you write down your goals and review them every single day. Not once a week, not once a month, but every single day. This daily review keeps your goals fresh in your mind. It keeps you focused on where you're going rather than on where you are. It reminds you that your current circumstances are temporary, but your goals are permanent until you achieve them. And here's something else about goals. They need to be bigger than your problems. If your goals are small and your problems are big, you'll be overwhelmed. But if your goals are big and your problems are small by comparison, you'll stay motivated. You'll maintain your positive attitude because you'll be more focused on the exciting future you're creating than on the difficult present you're experiencing. Let me talk now about the importance of action. You can have the most positive attitude in the world, but if you're not taking action, nothing changes. Positive thinking without positive action is just wishful thinking. You've got to put your positive attitude into motion. And here's what I've discovered. Taking action, even small action, helps you maintain your positive attitude. See, when you're taking action toward your goals, even if things are tough, you feel like you're making progress. You feel like you're doing something about your situation rather than just being a victim of your situation. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates more positive feelings. But when you're not taking action, when you're just sitting around thinking about your problems, worrying about your circumstances, complaining about how difficult things are, your attitude deteriorates rapidly. Inaction breeds more negativity. Action breeds more positivity. So even in tough times, especially in tough times, you've got to be doing something. You've got to be taking steps, however small, toward improving your situation. Maybe you can't take big steps right now. Maybe you can only take tiny steps. That's fine. Take the tiny steps. Do what you can with what you have from where you are, but do something. Keep moving, keep acting, keep progressing. And let me tell you something about progress. Progress is not always obvious. Sometimes you're making progress even when you can't see it. Sometimes you're planting seeds that won't sprout for months or years. Sometimes you're learning lessons that won't pay off until much later. Don't judge your progress only by immediate visible results. Trust that if you're consistently taking positive action, consistently learning, consistently growing, you're making progress even if you can't see it yet. Now, I want to talk about something that many people overlook, the importance of gratitude in maintaining a positive attitude through tough times. This might seem counterintuitive. You might be thinking, Jim, I'm going through really difficult times. What do I have to be grateful for? But that's exactly the point. No matter how tough things are, there is always something to be grateful for. Always. You might not have much money, but you have your health. You might not have your dream job, but you have a job. You might be facing challenges, but you have the ability to face them. You might be going through difficulties, but you're going through them. They haven't stopped you completely. Gratitude is like a reset button for your attitude. When you focus on what you're grateful for, even in tough times, you shift your focus from what's wrong to what's right, from what you lack to what you have, from problems to blessings. And that shift in focus creates a shift in attitude. I suggest making gratitude a daily practice. Every single day, write down at least 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, it's often the small things that matter most. A warm meal, a comfortable bed, a kind word from a friend, a beautiful sunset, a moment of peace. This daily practice of gratitude trains your mind to look for the good even in difficult circumstances. It keeps you from falling into the trap of focusing only on what's wrong. It helps you maintain perspective, because the truth is, even in your toughest times, you probably have more to be grateful for than many people have in their best times. Let me tell you about perspective. Perspective is everything when it comes to staying positive through tough times. The same situation can be viewed as a disaster or as an opportunity depending on your perspective. The same circumstance can be seen as a setback or as a setup for a comeback depending on your perspective. I want you to develop the habit of asking yourself, what's another way I could look at this situation? What's the opportunity hidden in this challenge? How might this difficulty be helping me even though it doesn't feel good right now? These questions help you shift your perspective. They help you see possibilities you might have missed. They help you find the silver lining in the dark cloud. And every time you shift your perspective from negative to positive, you strengthen your ability to stay positive in future difficult situations. Here's something else about perspective. You can always find someone who has it worse than you. Always. No matter how difficult your circumstances are, somewhere in the world, someone is facing circumstances far more difficult and doing so with grace and courage. When you remember this, when you look at your challenges in the context of what others are facing, it helps you maintain perspective. It helps you realize that maybe your situation isn't quite as bad as you thought. I'm not suggesting you minimize your difficulties or pretend they don't matter. I'm suggesting you see them in their proper proportion. Don't make mountains out of molehills. Don't catastrophize. Don't let your imagination run wild with worst-case scenarios. See your challenges clearly and honestly, but also see them in perspective. Now let me talk about the power of words. The words you speak have tremendous power to shape your attitude and your reality. If you're constantly talking about how bad things are, how difficult your situation is, how unfair life is, you're reinforcing negative patterns in your mind. You're programming yourself for negativity. But if you're speaking positive words, if you're talking about possibilities rather than limitations, if you're discussing solutions rather than problems, you're reinforcing positive patterns. You're programming yourself for positivity. Pay attention to your self-talk. Listen to the words you say to yourself in your own mind. Are you encouraging yourself or discouraging yourself? Are you speaking words of faith or words of fear? Are you building yourself up or tearing yourself down? Change your words and you'll change your attitude. Start speaking positive words over your life. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I'm learning how to do this. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, this is challenging, but I'm up for the challenge. Instead of saying, I'll never get through this, say, I'm getting through this one day at a time. Your words create your reality. They really do. Not in some magical, mystical sense, but in a very practical sense. Your words shape your thoughts shape your attitudes shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. Let me share something with you about time. When you're going through tough times, time is both your enemy and your friend. It's your enemy in the sense that while you're going through difficulties, time can seem to drag. Every day can feel like an eternity. But time is also your friend because time changes things. Time heals. Time brings new opportunities. Time gives you perspective. The key is to use time wisely while you're going through tough times. Don't just wait for time to pass. Don't just endure. Use this time productively. Learn something new. Develop a new skill. Read books that will help you grow. Work on yourself. Improve yourself. Make yourself more valuable. See, tough times are actually the best times for personal development because you're motivated by necessity. When things are going well, it's easy to coast. It's easy to be complacent. But when things are tough, you have a reason to get better. You have a reason to learn. You have a reason to grow. So use your tough times as growing times. Invest in yourself. Invest in your education. Invest in your development. When the tough times are over, and they will be over, you want to emerge as a better version of yourself. You want to be stronger, wiser, more capable, capable, more skilled than you were before. Now let me talk about something that's absolutely critical. You must protect your health during tough times. When we're stressed, when we're under pressure, when we're going through difficulties, we often neglect our physical health. We stop exercising, we eat poorly, we don't get enough sleep, we let stress accumulate. But here's the thing, your physical state affects your mental state. If you're not taking care of your body, it's much harder to maintain a positive attitude. When you're tired, when you're not eating well, when you're not exercising, everything seems worse than it actually is. Your problems seem bigger, your challenges seem more overwhelming, your future seems bleaker. So even in tough times, especially in tough times, you've got to take care of your physical health. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure you're eating nutritious food. Make sure you're getting some exercise, even if it's just a 30-minute walk every day. Exercise is particularly powerful for maintaining a positive attitude. When you exercise, your body releases endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. Exercise also gives you a sense of accomplishment. It gives you energy, it clears your mind, it reduces stress. All of these benefits help you maintain the positive attitude you need to get through tough times. Let me tell you about the power of service. This might surprise you, but one of the best ways to stay positive when you're going through tough times is to help someone else who's going through tough times. When you focus on helping others, you get out of your own head. You stop dwelling on your own problems. You gain perspective. You realize that other people are struggling too, and that realization makes your own struggles seem more manageable. There's something about service that lifts the human spirit. When you help someone else, when you make a difference in someone else's life, even in a small way, you feel better about yourself. You feel more positive. You feel more hopeful. You're reminded that you have value, that you have something to offer, that you can make a positive impact even when things aren't going well for you. So look for opportunities to help others. Maybe you can't help in a big way right now. That's fine. Help in whatever way you can. Listen to someone who needs to talk. Encourage someone who's discouraged. Share something you've learned. Give what you can give. You'll find that in giving to others, you receive something valuable in return. A more positive attitude, a greater sense of purpose, a deeper sense of connection. Now, let me talk about expectations. This is subtle but important. If you expect life to be easy, if you expect everything to go smoothly, if you expect success without struggle, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and negativity, because life isn't easy. Things don't always go smoothly. Success requires struggle. But if you expect challenges, if you expect difficulties, if you expect that the path to your goals will be bumpy and steep, then when those challenges arise, you're not surprised, you're not discouraged, you're prepared, you anticipated this. And that mental preparation makes it much easier to stay positive when tough times come. I'm not suggesting you expect the worst. I'm suggesting you expect reality. Expect that achieving anything worthwhile will require overcoming obstacles. Expect that building a better life will require effort and persistence. Expect that there will be setbacks along the way. When you have realistic expectations, you're much more resilient when difficulties arise. And here's something else about expectations. Expect to succeed eventually. Expect that if you keep working, keep learning, keep growing, keep trying, you will eventually break through. Expect that your tough times are temporary and that better times are coming. This expectation of ultimate success helps you persist through present difficulties. Let me talk now about the importance of celebrating small victories. When you're going through tough times, it's easy to focus only on how far you still have to go, on how much you still haven't accomplished, on all the problems you still need to solve. But that focus will drain your positivity fast. Instead, celebrate your progress, however small. Did you make it through a difficult day? Celebrate that. Did you take one small step toward your goal? Celebrate that. Did you maintain your positive attitude for a whole week despite tough circumstances? Celebrate that. These small celebrations are like fuel for your journey. They remind you that you're making progress. They give you confidence. They reinforce positive behaviors. They help you maintain momentum. Don't wait until you've completely solved all your problems before you celebrate. Don't wait until you've achieved your ultimate goal. Celebrate the small victories along the way. Each one is evidence that you're moving in the right direction, that your efforts are paying off, that you're getting stronger. Now, I want to talk about failure and mistakes. When you're going through tough times, you're probably going to make some mistakes. You're probably going to try things that don't work. You're probably going to fail at some of your attempts. That's not a problem. That's normal. That's part of the process. The problem is if you interpret those failures and mistakes as proof that you should give up, as evidence that you're not good enough, as confirmation that your situation is hopeless, that interpretation will destroy your positive attitude faster than anything else. Instead, interpret failure as feedback. Interpret mistakes as learning opportunities. When something doesn't work, don't ask, why am I such a failure? Ask, what did I learn? What can I do differently next time? How can I use this experience to improve my approach? Every successful person has failed many times. The difference is they didn't let failure define them. They didn't let failure destroy their positive attitude. They treated failure as information, as education, as preparation for future success. I want you to develop a relationship with failure where you're not afraid of it, where you see it as a necessary part of growth, where you actually appreciate it because you know that on the other side of every failure is valuable learning. When you have this relationship with failure, it becomes much easier to maintain a positive attitude when things don't go as planned. Let me talk about the power of visualization. This is a tool that many successful people use, but that most people overlook. When you're going through tough times, take time every day to visualize your desired outcome. Close your eyes and see yourself having overcome your current difficulties. See yourself achieving your goals. See yourself living the life you want to live. This isn't just wishful thinking. This is a powerful psychological tool. When you visualize success, when you create a clear mental picture of what you're working toward, several things happen. First, you activate the same neural pathways in your brain that you would activate if you were actually experiencing that success. Second, you program your subconscious mind to look for opportunities to make that vision real. Third, you reinforce your positive attitude by focusing on the destination rather than on the difficulties of the journey. Spend at least 10 minutes every day visualizing your success. See it clearly, feel it emotionally, make it as real as possible in your mind. This daily practice will help you maintain your positive attitude because you'll be regularly reconnecting with your vision of a better future. Now let me address something directly. Some of you listening right now are thinking, this all sounds good, Jim, but you don't understand how bad my situation really is. You don't know what I'm facing. You don't know how difficult my circumstances are. And you're right, I don't know your specific situation, but I do know this. Your situation, however difficult, is not unique in human history. Someone somewhere has faced something similar or worse and found a way through. Someone has overcome what you're facing. Someone has turned their tough times into triumph. The question is not whether it can be done. The question is, will you be the one who does it? Will you be the one who maintains a positive attitude despite difficult circumstances? Will you be the one who refuses to give up? Will you be the one who finds a way forward when others would quit? You have more strength than you realize. You have more resilience than you know. You have more capability than you think. But you won't discover these qualities about yourself if you give in to negativity. You won't discover what you're truly capable of if you let tough times defeat your attitude. The tough times you're facing right now are developing qualities in you that will serve you for the rest of your life. They're teaching you lessons you couldn't learn any other way. They're preparing you for future opportunities that you can't even imagine yet, but only if you maintain the right attitude, only if you stay positive, only if you keep believing in yourself and in your future. Let me share something with you about success. Success is not the absence of problems. Success is not having an easy life. Success is not about avoiding difficulties. Real success is developing the ability to solve problems. Real success is building the strength to handle difficulties. Real success is maintaining your values and your positive attitude regardless of circumstances. Some people think that successful people don't have problems. That's nonsense. Successful people have problems just like everyone else. Often they have bigger problems because they're attempting bigger things. The difference is they've developed the skills and the attitude to handle those problems effectively. So don't wait for your problems to disappear before you start living positively. Don't wait for everything to be perfect before you allow yourself to be happy. Don't postpone your positive attitude until circumstances improve. Start now. Be positive now. Take action now. Learn now. Grow now. Every day you wait is a day wasted. Every day you spend in negativity is a day you're not working toward your better future. Every day you allow circumstances to control your attitude is a day you're giving away your power. Take back your power. Decide right now that your attitude is under your control, not under the control of circumstances. Decide that you're going to stay positive regardless of what happens. Decide that you're going to find a way forward no matter how difficult the path might be. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to leave you with this thought. The tough times you're facing right now are temporary. They will pass. But the person you become while going through these tough times, the strength you develop, the lessons you learn, the character you build, these are permanent. These will stay with you for the rest of your life. So use these tough times wisely. Don't waste them in negativity and complaint. Use them to become stronger, wiser, better. Use them to develop the qualities you'll need for your future success. Use them to prove to yourself what you're really made of. Stay positive, not because it's easy, but because it's essential. Not because everything is fine, but because staying positive is the only way to make things fine. Not because you feel like it, but because feeling positive is the result of being positive, not the prerequisite. Your attitude is your most valuable asset. It determines your destiny more than your circumstances ever will. Guard it carefully, develop it deliberately, maintain it consistently. The future belongs to those who stay positive through tough times, who keep believing when others give up, who keep working when others quit, who keep growing when others stagnate. Let that person be you. Decide today that no matter what tough times you face, you will face them with a positive attitude. You will overcome them. You will emerge stronger on the other side. Thank you for listening. Now go out there and put these principles into practice. Your better future is waiting for you on the other side of these tough times. Stay positive, keep working, and you will get there.